Here we are, and we are back for episode 32. This is To Hell with the Podcast. I'm Tim. I am here with Daryl, and today it's going to be a short one. We're not going to go, and what I mean by short one is last week I was traveling. If you saw the video, you saw I was on a hotel room, and I got hit with allergies. You might still hear it a little bit in my voice. Been struggling to get over this mess. But also, we had a family matter that we've had to deal with personally. So I told Daryl, I said, I had no time to prep. I had no time to research, do anything on this. So let's just get on, talk about a few things and keep moving. So that's what we're going to do today. But I'm here with Daryl, and good afternoon to you, sir.
Hey man, good to be here as always. Yeah, we got some stuff to chew on here. I mean, we don't have like a very documented format like we kind of do sometimes, but yeah, man, we're just gonna riff a little bit because yeah, we do have some stuff going on family wise, and so yeah, we'll be in and out. But I am excited to talk about what we're gonna talk about. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got a few things that we are going to talk about. I'll probably save I think I'll save that one last one for last because we can kind of probably scoot through the other stuff pretty quickly. And
all right,
one of the things, if you are not aware of, Stryper has put more tour dates out for this year. And I mean, it's pretty, I mean, you start looking, and I'll just share the screen here. Where's my share? Feel like I haven't done this in a while, and I got to get to the share button right. Here we go. The tour. So, I mean, they're hitting some things, through the summertime, June and July, but they're starting to build up their fall venue pretty good. I mean, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Wisconsin, Missouri, Ohio, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Virginia, and then that'll take them through October 24th. And then the last one you see there is the 80s cruise. We talked a little bit about that last week, but you can see tickets are already on sale. And along with the tickets, not only that, but you also have the meet and greet that is coming up. And I can't remember if we talked about the meet and greet last week.
we talked a bit about it. We didn't go into like any detail because there wasn't a lot of detail.
Yeah, because right now this is what's on their website. I mean, on their Facebook page, you get the individual photo with the band, sound check access, exclusive gift, commemorative VIP, autographed 8x10, on-site, VIP host, front of the line entry, hassle-free merch shopping, which sometimes can actually be kind of nice
It is
if you
nice.
because you're not having to stand in line with everybody else. But yeah, so they've got that, and because as we know, they've been working on the new album. They've got the new album that's coming out sometime in the fall time. There's no official release date with that yet, but they're starting to get tour dates pumped up already behind this upcoming album.
Yeah, no, I'm really stoked for it because I mean, we don't have any like any material yet, so but they're building the tour, and so obviously, probably by the time we're into the fall, is there a release date for the record? I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me.
No, I haven't seen one
Okay,
for the album.
yeah, so I mean, I mean, obviously they're building the tour, and I do know that they have finished some of the tracking for the album, so I'm just like, okay, we need a release date at this point because they're adding so many dates, and it's like, all right, I'll go see whether the album's out or not. But yeah, it's exciting, man. It's like when one of your favorite bands is releasing, like, I mean, I feel like I mentioned Seven Dust every freaking week. They're about to release a new record, and I'm going to see them next month, and I'm just like, I am. But yeah, when your favorite bands release new music, it's always exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting time. I mean, again, they are already pressing the new album as their best ever, but again, that goes back to what we have always said for the past 32 episodes. The bar I
The
mean,
bar is
the
high.
bar the bar that we have for them, but also the bar that they set for themselves is one that makes it to where they want to do better than they did on their last album,
Yeah,
but maintain relative music, relative lyrics, or modern lyrics, modern music to where it resonates with new fans as well as the old fans.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, we, you and I already have the bar up here anyway, so because it's just what we expect. So, I mean, you know, I, which is why I'm excited. I was like, okay, cool, new Stryper music. I know it's going to be probably pretty awesome, but um, there's a handful of bands that you put up on that bar. So, and and in my opinion, Stryper is one of them because Mike is such a dang perfectionist, not in a bad way, but yeah, it's always got to be at a certain level, or we're not releasing it.
Well, you got to love that about them and about him and the band, because at the end of the day, it's not that they're just putting something out to put something out and let's just hey, they just want a new record. Let's just go in and do 8 tracks, at 3 minutes and just throw something out there to appease people. They really want to do the best that they can with everything they put out, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, there's 8,000 other bands that we could say they're just putting stuff out to put stuff out, and like I say, there's a handful of bands that are like, no, we're not going to do that, and that's I have a lot of respect for the bands that are keeping it up on the level, and there's other bands that I'm just like, golly, you're just like disrespecting yourselves.
Go hang it up. Don't put anything out. Like fight
Yeah,
for your a remake
nah,
of Fight for Your Right to Party.
yeah, you're staying too late to the party, so you need to go.
That one is totally true. But also with that, I mean, talking about putting albums out, we've already talked about it. It came out a few weeks ago. The Master Plan that continues to get a lot of recognition across the industry. But I saw a comment that it was either somebody just made on Facebook, or it was a reviewer, or he heard it on the Monsters of Rock cruise, something. I can't remember where he heard it at, but it was something like, "Yeah, it sounds good, but it's a little bit preachy." And it's like he's only been saying for years that this was going to be a worship and inspirational album.
I
What
love music critics. They're so dumb.
what do you think this was going to be?
Man, critics suck. I don't care. They're just dumb. They A lot of times they don't research the material that they're reviewing, or they have no context of what they're reviewing. And this golly, that's so crazy you say that, because it's like, yeah, he's only been saying for like a year this is going to be a freaking, inspirational. It's not going to be a Stryper record. And so, yeah, all the critics can kind of whatever. Know what you're reviewing.
Yeah, know what you're reviewing, know what you're talking about. But I will say this, after what me and my family have been through this past week, this this album, The Master Plan, was a very nice one just to pop in and just pray, worship, do. I mean, I'm like, I'm so glad this album came out
I
right
bet
now.
you listened to this thing a lot this week.
Yeah, I did. And I'm so glad that this album came out when it did, because it just kind of calmed me, made me help put my focus back in the right place. Not to, I mean, I'd like to say I wasn't worried, but I was still worried and stressed. And, but still, it just, at times I would hear, a certain song and just go, okay, breathe, just breathe. God's
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah,
So,
totally. Yeah, I could totally see that with you this week. I mean, yeah, you've been going through some stuff, so I mean, I'm glad it was there to help you get comfortable, so to speak.
yeah,
That's
yeah, it
weird.
was. It was definitely an album that I listened to quite a bit over the past few days. So I am glad it was out when it came out. So I will say that.
Hey, God's
But
timing is God's.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, the other thing too, yesterday, Michael had posted about everything. He went over everything going on with his voice. I'm not going to read this for, verbatim, but I mean, it was like 4 different things that he talked about. First, that he said he had some thickening of the vocal folds. Second, he's got what's called vocal trimmer. There's some medication that can help with that. And then Third, he said he had a fairly severe post-nasal drip and a deviated septum. Not much to do about that except, stream or steam, nutty pot, eating foods that don't cause congestion or, flame you up or anything like that. He kind of goes, oh, well. And then fourth, he talked about the thyroid cancer and he said he'll be getting checked again in June to see where he's at with that. And again, he went on to say that feels a little more crowded in there, but hopefully and prayerfully it won't change what I still have, it won't change what I still have too much. But he just goes on to say he's been working on his vocal issues, doing different things. And what was interesting, he talked about his voice. And he said, basically, with all of this going on, what he says here is my mid range is still difficult to navigate. But oddly enough, my high range scream has been much easier to perform.
That's weird.
And he goes on to say, I really think the nebulizer has really helped me with that. But all that to say, he's doing everything he can to overcome the obstacles. And thank you all for praying and believing. And I would say, continue to pray and believe for him as he works through everything that he's got going on with his vocals right now.
That's that is strange though, because I not that I'm a singer or anything, but I would think that high range that he has is I would think would be the first thing to start weakening, but the mid range, okay. I mean, he's professional. I'm not. So whatever he's got to do, but yeah, I would have thought the high range would have been the first to kind of start weakening, but hey,
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I would have had the same kind of thought behind that, but it's
well,
crazy.
again, he's a professional singer and we're not. So,
I know. He's been doing it for 40 plus years and
and we haven't.
no, we haven't. We have not. So, but just continue to pray for him and believe along with him that all of this is going to be taken care of and healed by the Father. So,
Yeah, for sure.
he posted that just yesterday. And then the last thing that came out this past week was, let me pull this up. Am I ready to play it? Yes, I am. Is I didn't start it from the beginning. Sorry, guys. There we go. We have list anytime we go in and we're checking out something, we always take a look and we always say, "Hey, let's make sure that our levels are good, and so that we can hear each other, that the music isn't overpowering us." And I forgot to go back to the beginning of the song, but just this was Thursday, yeah, because the 7th, April 16th. Michael Sweet posted here. Let me see. Do I have it? Yes, I can share this. Here we go.
Obviously, which article you have.
He goes, I'm excited to announce the return of the hard rock supergroup Iconic, featuring Michael Sweet on guitars, Joel Hoekstra, guitars, Marco Mendoza, bass, Tommy Aldridge, drums, Nathan James on vocals for their sophomore album, 2, scheduled for July 1st, 2026. And they released at the same time, they released their new single and accompanying lyric video, Cry No More. And that is what we are playing in the background. So I know you had said earlier, I mean, first thoughts on this song. I mean, I know we both have listened to it, but what are your first thoughts on the song?
I This is the music nerd coming out of me because I'm looking at the lineup of this band and I'm like, are you freaking serious? I mean, and I didn't know Nathan James too much because he wasn't in Whitesnake or didn't play with Ozzy Osbourne like everybody else did. When I was listening to this, I was like, man, it's strong. It's really strong. And the other part of it too that I was interested in is you got Michael Sweet on your six. He's not your lead singer. He's not your lead guitar player. So he's just kind of he's back there just holding stuff down. He's doing some rhythms and they do some of the harmony solos and he's doing the background vocals, but he's not the lead singer. And I mean, him and Hoekstra, the chemistry is, I mean, I liked it on the first record, but to me, this is a super group that is, I mean, I hate using that name, but man, get y'all out on the road, man. Cause I mean, this is like, these guys are legends. I mean, and I'm not using that term lightly. I mean, you got guys that have been in Whitesnake and Oz. I mean, Tommy Aldridge, one of my favorite drummers of all time. I mean, and Hoekstra is a he's a beast. And I can't remember the freaking guy's bass player. Mendoza. I mean,
Mendoza, Marco
yeah, he was. I
Mendoza
mean,
on
he played.
bass.
Yeah, he was also in Whitesnake. So this is like a legit super group. And the songs on the last record were really strong. And I really like the single that's coming out. But it's like when I'm watching, I went back and watched some of the videos from the first record, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, these are some of my heroes. So yeah, I'm totally stoked with what they're gonna have coming forth. So yeah, I'm jazzed.
Yeah, because I mean, like you said, you hear this song and you see Michael Sweet as being part of a group. A lot of people automatically think lead singer.
Right.
But in this particular one, he's really able to show, like, hey, I'm stepping back from singing and I'm a guitarist on this album. He was and it was the same thing for the first Iconic album, which came out 4 years ago in
Uh,
2022.
22,
And
23. Yeah.
so, so this is where he's able to show not his chops, but shows how he can play the guitar because so many people over the years, you play too, even though it's noticeable when you listen to a Stryper record or watch a video. But most of his other side projects, he's been the singer. Sweet and Lynch, he was the singer. Soul Driver, he was the singer. You know, he's got his solo stuff, he's got his Stryper stuff. But this is one where he just kind of, I don't want to say he's in the background, but he's in the background on the
More so
vocals
than
because,
usual.
yeah, he's in the background vocally because he is labeled as a guitarist on this album and as well as the first Iconic album, which was called Second Skin.
Yeah, I was really. I mean, and like I say, I went back and listened to the first record, and some of the chemistry elements between him and Hoekstra were. I mean, they didn't sound like Stryper, which is not a bad thing. But they were doing I mean, they were doing some of those harmonized solos, but they were. I hate to say this. When it hit my ear, I was like, "All right, this is way more technical than a typical Stryper harmonized solo." Because some of the stuff that Hoaxer is doing, he's a beast. And so, yeah, him and Michael working together was like, I was kind of blown away because I haven't listened to that first record for, God, I think I listened to it once when it came out. But he's a phenomenal guitar player. And him and Mike working together where Mike doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting was, really cool to watch and listen to.
Yeah, because as I'm reading through a review on the first album, and I'm just glancing at this right now. It's like there's one track. It says it's a hard rock slammer where James and Sweet share vocal duties and harmonies on.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth vocally too. I mean, on that first record. So yeah, that they do a really good job of just sliding back and forth with each other. Because I mean, you got Michael Sweet behind you. It's like he can do all the stuff that you could probably do, but when they flip flop it back and forth, especially the vocals and the guitar. I mean, they did a lot of work just making all that blend, which was I thought it was really cool.
Well, maybe this is our content for our next step away from Stryper, and we dive into the first Iconic album
Hey, don't
and
have a
we go
problem with
through
that.
that. So, because I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't listen to this maybe except once, and like you said, it was way back when. So I'm gonna have to dive back into it because I wonder too if on this upcoming album if they'll do the same thing, if they'll go back and forth on some songs on the vocal duties because like the one that we just listened to called Cry No More. I mean, that one was specifically Nathan James fronting the lead vocals on it.
Right, but they also have, like, a few songs on the first record where they're it's just back and forth. It's almost like they're battling each other, and it's like it's really cool, and not just vocally, but on the guitar as well, so, him and Hoekstra kinda going back and forth, and then Mike Mike was, like, having to do a lot of stuff with, multiple people in the band, so it was just I mean, it was just fun to watch, and they had, like I think they had 3 videos off that first record, so yeah, and it's it's not, I won't call it hair metal, but it's like, it's just that mid to late 80s kind of sound, and it's, I don't know. I was really digging it.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that I've seen on here is that a lot of it says it's a good solid 80s sounding record.
Well, God, look at your musicians, dude. I mean, you got legends all over the place. So, yeah, I mean, the only person I didn't know was the vocalist, and he's awesome too. So, yeah, the rest of this band is just I mean, just ridiculous. So, yeah,
I know.
anybody that hasn't listened to the first Iconic record, go listen to it if you're a fan. If you might be a man of a certain age or whatever, and maybe like some little heavier metal. And this thing, I mean, I had forgotten about it, to be honest, today, and I listened to it and I was like, holy crap! Because first ever drum uh training video I ever bought was the one that Tommy Alders made, and he's on
Really?
this record.
Yeah, he's been around for a
Dude, he's like
long
80,000
time.
years old. I mean, I think he is like 75, like for real.
Let's see. I'll tell you how old he is here real quick. Let's see.
And he's
Yeah,
played,
you're right. He's 75. He was born in he'll be 76 this year.
yeah. I mean, and you think of all the stuff that he's done, the iconic Ozzy records with Randy Rhoads and the White Snake records. I mean, he's he's done a million things, and he's a freaking phenomenal drummer. And Hoekstra, I'm not a guitar player, but he's done a bunch of stuff. I mean, 3 out of 4 of these guys were in White Snake. So
And you know what I'm finding out is like when this album came out so many years ago, 4 years ago, I wasn't building I didn't have my record player, I didn't have my record collection, I didn't have all that. But I am finding out if you want the vinyl, you need to buy it when it comes out because I just went and looked on Amazon while we were talking. There is one vinyl on Amazon and somebody is trying to sell it for $329.98.
for this record, bro, okay,
Factory sealed, indie exclusive, limited edition, Italy import is what they're saying.
that's why it costs so much.
And the LP is out of print with 11 tracks because that's what I have found is like,
Okay,
because
supply and
I
demand.
tried to go back and buy the second Sweet and Lynch Unified, the second Sweet and Lynch vinyl, and it's all out of print. So it's like, yeah, if I really want something on vinyl, I better buy it when it comes out. So I make sure it's in my collection and I don't sit there and go, well, I'm not spending $329.98.
Yeah, that's kind of silly, but man, I mean, if you can get it, then go get it. Oh my word. Yeah, I am really looking forward to this because when I was listening back through stuff today, I was I had forgotten like how cool and like who's in the band, and I was like, dang, these are like a lot of my people that I grew up with.
Yeah.
So I
And
mean,
the album comes out July 3rd.
nice. So yeah, I mean, we got 6 more minutes. You're hard out at 5:30.
Yes, I am.
All right, so let's talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for just a second. So I didn't hate this class as much as I usually do. Um, headliners, freaking Iron Maiden got in finally. Billy Idol's sitting there. Okay, and then we go to Sade, which lady, please go on tour. She's like, I've already said this. She's on my bucket list to go see. Oasis, I could care less. We got Luther Vandross. We got Wu Tang. So Wu Tang is a weird one for me, but I'm a fan. But I was really happy to see that Phil Collins, Iron Maiden, and Billy Idol kind of got in there. And they usually screw this up somehow, but they did a decent job this year. So maybe this is a thing going forward. So it was cool to see Luther Vandross and Sade getting in because I mean that's kind of the silky smooth R&B kind of stuff, and I love that style of music. But I was also really happy to see that we finally got a freaking metal band in there. Iron
Yeah,
Maiden.
because I see this that they were inducted after 21 years of eligibility.
It just they they find a way to this up every year somehow. And so and that being said, Judas Priest is still not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So,
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing that bothers me about the whole thing. Not that they're not in it, but I think they really need to change the title from the Rock and Roll Hall
uh,
of Fame to the Music Hall of Fame.
I agree.
As rock and roll, when I think about that, I think about the bands that we've listened to. I think about, bands like Boston or Journey or, you know, things like that. When I
But all
think,
those guys are already in there.
yeah, but when I think about rock and roll, I'm not thinking Luther Vandross, because I'm like thinking like what you just said, more R&B, you know, or I'm not even like the Joy Division New Order. The combined group is recognized for their influential new wave sound. I'm not thinking of new wave music as rock and roll. And
Right.
so that's what irritates me about this. Is this a rock and roll
They should
or
change
the
the name for sure.
and we know it's not rock and roll because of the people getting in. So they need to change it to the music. And I think that's so when I look at it, what irks me, it's not that Luther Vandross got in or, some other people like him in the past. I'm glad that he's recognized. I'm glad that he's honored. I know he's had a big contribution to music over the years. But what irks me when I see, those, different styles of music getting in, I'm like, that's not rock and roll though.
Right. Well,
And
yeah,
so
they should have changed the name. I mean, and we got Phil Collins up here too. So I mean, there's some powerful names in this class, but yeah, I agree with you. It shouldn't be the rock. If when they started putting NWA and those kind of artists, and I love NWA, but that's not and they are kind of rock and roll, but I feel like they should change the name to just the Music Hall of Fame. And I don't know how you figure that crap out. It's not my job, but yeah, there's too many. There's the spread is too large at this point, and
yeah.
it's
And I will say, Billy Idol, getting in, I mean, he's rock and roll, but I'm glad to see if since they did end up honoring Phil Collins, I'm glad they did it while he was still alive.
fair enough. Yeah, and there's a lot of that too, where bands get in and you got one or two guys that are freaking dead. I mean, that's happened a couple times. So I think it happened with Yes. I can't remember. There's a couple times that's happened where yeah, you're getting inducted and a couple of your band members are not here. So yeah, I mean they I don't know. It's so screwed up. I mean, how long you have to well, I guess how much red tape you have to go through. And I'm like,
And I think the thing
what's the
is,
freaking problem?
but I also think too, I think the thing is when you see Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and then you see some artists that could be deserving and they are rock and roll, but then you see people that aren't quotes rock and roll unquote end quotes, then it's just like that doesn't make sense to me, you know, and it just goes back to change the name.
Well, Missy Elliott, this is the example I always go back to. Missy Elliott is in the Hall of Fame and Judas Priest is not. So, and I love Missy Elliott's awesome. She's a great performer. But I mean, that's kind of where I land. I'm just like, all right, just change the freaking name, dude. I mean, anyways.
Yeah,
All right,
because I mean,
well,
because I mean, the thing is, it's like I'll just say this out there: you got a country music hall of fame in Nashville. You're not going to see Van Halen inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. You're not going to see Luther Vandross inducted into the Music Hall of Fame. So I just feel that's why I feel like they need to change the name because there are other segments that separate by genre of music, and it just makes it confusing to people.
yeah, that's true. I'm also wondering if they just shouldn't have like a hip hop Hall of Fame. I mean, I don't know how all that works, but yeah, it they kinda I feel like they need to segment it because it's like, okay, you're just balling all these people up and putting them in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you know what? I don't really mind, but it's just like, at this point, they're not I don't think they're gonna change it, but
No, they
if
won't.
if they would change the name, that would kinda be a little more just from a because you have, like, all these, different genres, and they're not rock and roll.
And I think
Anyway.
the thing that bugs me about it is that I'm such a black and white person. It's just like rock and roll means rock and roll. It doesn't mean all these other lines of music, you know? It's like make
Well,
it
when
the
they
music so it makes sense.
well, when they created the place, we didn't have hip hop.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't mind people getting recognized for their talent because I mean, I'm a huge hip hop fan, but yeah, it's just like, all right, well, I mean, if that's what we're doing, maybe we wanna talk about branding. So,
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so that's where we're at. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to 2026 inductees. So here we are. Like we said at the top of the show, this was going to be a quick one today. Hopefully, we'll be back on track later this for next week when we drop episode 33. Oh, but this is it for episode 32. And a lot of things happening this week with Stryper. Don't forget to go check out the iconic new song where Michael Sweet is playing guitars on that. And you got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees that have been officially announced.
and go check out the first iconic record. I was listening to it today and I was just like, okay, this is a freaking super group, and they are giving you everything that they have, and it's really freaking good. So I would suggest if you're gonna go listen to the new iconic song, go back and listen to the first record because I had totally slept for a couple years on that one. So yeah, it's really amazing.
I'll have to go back and listen to it as well because that was one that I've kind of put up on the shelf and haven't listened to in quite a while.
Yeah, me too. So
But you
all
guys,
right,
hope you have a great week, and we will see you next Tuesday. Daryl, thank you, man, and thanks for being patient with me this week. This week, this weekend, hopefully, not only with the personal stuff, but all this stuff that's in my head, this congestion will be gone, so I can feel like I can actually get on here and talk normally.
brother. We'll talk
All
later.
right, man. Well, we love you guys. Here we are. To hell with the podcast. Episode 32 is a wrap, and we will see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all.